Hello world, you're watching 80s Music Twin Ranked. I'm Joel.
I'm Chris.
And today we're doing our second Canadian artist.
Who's the first one?
Rush.
Oh yeah, the Canadian band.
The Canadian band. You forgot about
the
one we grew up with said they used to
I'm
be
not
our
even
favorite,
said in that video they're Canadian, but I forgot to.
our favorite artist. Back then we forgot they were Canadian. But then this is number 2. And if anybody in between was Canadian, I don't recall. But I know we've had a couple British and that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
but,
I don't think we.
All right, so number 2, and you're wondering, okay, tell us who it is. It's Bryan Adams.
They know who it is. They clicked on the video.
Oh yeah, you know who it is. Sorry, not trying to doubt your intelligence.
Now, if you're watching a video and we say, "Guess who we're doing?" and you're like, "I don't know," then you're an idiot. You clicked on the video.
Most of you only watch about 3 minutes of our video, so you don't know the end where we give you a hint.
Right.
Anyways, I wanted to start this video off similar to how I started Phil Collins, I think is what I did before. So, Bryan Adams had 4 number 1 hits. 3 of them had to do with a movie. Not a particular movie, each one with a movie, except for one. Can you name Can you name all his number 1 hits?
I thought he only had 2 movies that he did. I thought it was
he had lots. Believe it or not,
Okay.
he was involved in a bunch of movies. We'll cover that before we.
Well, obviously, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, which was Everything I Do for You. That was his first movie song, I think.
I think it was.
I don't think he had one before that, and so that was number 1. But I believe before that, Run to You from Reckless was the number 1.
Not a number 1.
No?
No, he did have one.
I thought I just saw that was the number 1.
He had a number 1 hit on Reckless. It was not Run to You.
See, I would think it was Summer of '69, but I didn't think that was it.
That was not a number 1.
That should have been it. That's probably
that one's
it's the one I hear the most.
You would think with the amount of time it gets plays, it was Heaven.
Heaven, okay.
Of course, it had to be a slow song because Billboard loved to.
Well, after Waking Up the Neighbors, I said pretty much that's all the hits he was putting out was ballads.
No, not always.
No, so.
But
Okay, so we're not
2
done.
more. So you got Heaven,
and he did all for one.
Heaven was his first number 1.
Or was it all for love? But that was
All for Love.
But that was with Sting and Rod Stewart.
Correct. It was what movie?
The Three Musketeers.
Three Musketeers, which is the reason they had 3 sinkers.
Yeah, but what other movie did he do? I didn't know he did
one other movie, and believe it or not, this song made it all the way up to number 1.
I had no idea he did another movie. So what movie was it?
Don Juan DeMarco.
Oh, that's right. He did. Have you ever loved a woman? Okay.
Yep, with Johnny Depp.
They did just.
That was a number 1 hit. Now, after that, he actually had another movie duet with Barbara Streisand for
I saw
a movie
that.
called The Mirror Had 2 Faces. It went up to number 7. I did not include that movie even in the list that we ranked because I don't remember it being on the radio, and I don't consider that a Bryan Adams song. Even she was in the movie, she was in the song. That was her thing. Get it out of here.
If we ever do Barbara Streisand,
Yeah, she probably had some things in the 80s, but
I don't know that she would have 10 that I know.
I don't know that I consider her a pop star either.
Or 80s, yeah, but I mean, probably only like 5 songs that I know of hers. So.
Yes. Okay, so let's continue on the movies. So his very first cameo appearance, I believe, was not, believe it or not, he did appear in Robin Hood. He had a cameo that was not credited. He played a troubadour. And I don't recall that, but you know when
I didn't know that either.
The Robin Hood people are in the forest, and of course they have musicians too doing their, King Arthur type music, and he played one of those guys as I don't know what instrument he would have had, probably the little
I don't know.
strumming instrument. It's a troubadour. His second role. And I wish I would have actually got this movie from the library and found the part he played. He played a
You don't need to get the movie, just on YouTube, it probably can find it.
I looked on YouTube, couldn't find it. So he starred And interesting, Jim Carrey has a cameo in this as well. It's Pink Cadillac with Clint Eastwood.
Okay.
And he was a gas station attendant. That's what it says he is in the credits. So, pumping gas. Bryan Adams pumping gas.
Not Steve Martin,
so,
jerk.
Whether or not he was
shooting these cans.
I don't know if that movie's based in Canada. So.
Okay.
And then later on, he actually had a main speaking part in an animated movie called Jocko the Hero Dog. He played Jocko.
Okay.
and then the only other movie related thing is that he wrote the song that 38 Special sang in Teacher Teacher, and that would have been the title song, Teacher Teacher. And his version I actually don't like as much as 38 Special, so good thing he let somebody else do that. So,
yeah, I didn't know most of that stuff. So
yeah, so there's all right. So we still got to continue the connections to movies. So with all that movie stuff, you're wondering, how is it that Kenny Loggins has the title of king when it comes to movies?
Because Kenny Loggins, you still can name all the Kenny Loggins movies more than you could Bryan Adams.
Probably, but
that was only 3 movies. Kenny Loggins has 3 there.
And hey, you know what? I was wrong. There is one other thing.
Okay.
Similar to Phil Collins doing Tarzan, Bryan Adams scored a animated movie called Spirit.
Yeah.
So he did the whole soundtrack for that as well. That was in 2002, I believe.
Yeah. No hits out of that. So.
Right, no hits. By that time, he was done on the radio. So, and his albums after that are still good. I was listening to him at work, and I'm like, it's still pretty good, but it just wasn't popular anymore. As a matter of fact, the album he put out right after that, which again, I can't think of, Room Service. That album was his least selling album since his second one, You Want It, You Got It. So that shows how far off the map he fell after that point. So, let's get to Bryan Adams' history here. You'll see again, he's another one. Started right at 1980 with his self-titled album, and I tried listening to it. His right off the bat on the very first song.
But he's only 21 years old too.
Right off the bat, he doesn't sound like he sounds on Reckless.
Yeah.
He doesn't even have the raspy voice he has on some of the songs, you know. And then I saw he actually started to put out music videos on his own YouTube channel of those songs back then, and people are commenting, hey, 40 years later you sound exactly the same. I was like, no, he didn't even sound like that back then. But that was his first album. No hits on that one, no hits on the second one the year later, called You Want It, You Got It. I thought that Unplugged song was on it, Back to You, but it wasn't, because I thought the Unplugged were playing previous songs, and I don't know what Back to You came from, because it wasn't on any of the previous albums.
No, but I saw his very first hit was Straight from the Heart, which was from Cuts Like,
and that was his highest ranking Heart on that album. That was the very next one, Cuts Like a Knife.
And it's funny because I like the other two better.
Yes, so same here.
This time it Cuts Like a Knife, I think, is better than Straight from the Heart. So.
And it's funny, as I was looking at the slow songs these groups play, I've been thinking about the groups we've already done. Tell you what, we only have maybe 4 out of the 10 so far even have slow songs you can dance. Say you went to a homecoming dance.
Right.
Only 4 of the groups ever put out songs that were songs you could dance to slow. Like Bryan Adams, I think you could probably dance to Heaven. Maybe. So, anyways, like Billy Joel's, I don't know that he had any. He didn't have very many. He had less slow songs than fast songs, but I don't know that you did slow dance to him. I don't know why I thought that, but I was just looking at him. We don't rank slow songs, so there you go. so skip the year after the 2 duds. I don't know if they're duds.
They're not duds.
They're just practice. Getting better, and then Cuts Like a Knife, of course, comes out when MTV is big. So that's why. And are those videos even black and white? They got the same girl.
No, they're not black and white. This time might have been.
They've got a hazy look to them, so they appear black and white, you know. And I don't think Straight from the Heart
Had a video.
had a video
No,
to
probably
it,
not.
even though it got all the way up to number 10, I believe. So yeah, he had, and yeah, the 3 hits. This time, Cuts Like a Knife, Straight from the Heart. And I bought that cassette, after you had already bought Reckless. I wanted to go backwards, I guess. He bought Reckless, had 6 hits.
And then
and they all were ranked in the top 20.
I do not remember One Night Love Affair. I didn't remember being on the radio. But that's probably because I was so used to hearing it because I had the album.
Maybe.
And it's the very first song.
Well, I didn't have the album. I don't remember hearing it, and it actually ranked higher.
It's the very first song on the album. So,
yeah, but it ranked higher on the charts than It's Only Love with Tina Turner.
Right.
And I remember that one.
That's the shortest song on the album too.
So,
It's Only Love.
so you got 6 songs from Reckless, and I'll tell you what. When I listened to his stuff. If I played guitar, you played guitar. If I would have learned guitar, I would want to play the guitar like Bryan Adams played guitar.
And that's my cat. I would consider Reckless the best album.
From him,
From
yes.
him,
Yeah, I would.
Waking Up the Neighbors is pretty close.
It's pretty close.
I like Into the Fire too.
Yeah, Into the Fire I don't consider his best. I do consider, similar to REO Speedwagon, Life as You Know It, I consider that his most underrated album. It took a drop off in sales, but it's still very listenable.
Yeah. So you had Cuts Like a Knife. I got Reckless. Then you bought Into the Fire
again as record. I don't know what the heck I was doing with all.
And I bought Waking Up the Neighbors cassette too. And I remember when I went back to listen to all the songs on YouTube, I'm like, I had this album. I played it all the time. I don't remember these songs.
Well, the re-release, they include all these other extras that you have, and there's a reason those weren't on the original cut. Okay, so Reckless comes out in '84, but only 2 songs were released in '84. So the other 4 songs were all released in '85. Both of our number ones come from '85. The song I like, song you like.
The year that had the best music.
Right. Now, weird, he put out one other song during that time. Wasn't on any album. Remember the one called Diana?
Yeah.
And it had to do with Princess Di.
Right.
And then there were rumors about him having a relationship with her due to that song, which he didn't. But
yeah.
and I like that song. I kind of wish it was on Reckless.
How far did that go?
Good question.
Didn't reach.
Oh, you know what?
Obviously didn't reach.
It didn't rank. It didn't rank. It was put out.
Okay.
And once she died, he retired that song, so he hasn't played it since.
Okay.
Yeah. So the 2 years, and because of how big it was, I'm sure.
But you can find it on YouTube. So.
Yes, I'm sure that's why there's a 2-year gap because of how good that album was doing. Then they put out Into the Fire, which I like. Didn't do as well. Still had 6 songs put out on the radio, even though I only remember 3 of them being played on the radio. But 6 of them, they're the best of the songs. I actually like Native Son, even though that wasn't one of the releases. Maybe it's like U2. He got, or Mr. too, more social conscious out there. Save the whales. I don't know.
I noticed that I was going through his list of hits that he put out. I'm like, every single song is about love. just about. I don't think there's
some of those Reckless songs. It's not the right kind of love.
No, but still, I'm like, he doesn't sing about anything else. There's no other subject.
Yeah. So. Yeah. So that's my Native Son, and maybe I like it because it's about
something else.
Indians losing their land or something. Okay, so 3 years pass before waking up the neighbors, and you had that one as well. You said. Yeah. Did you also have the greatest hits? The So Far So Good.
So Far So Good.
I don't know why I thought you had that as well.
No.
So
I had 2 albums that had a lot of their hits on it, so
and
I pretty much had their.
And that one had 5 hits on it. And you'll notice I don't have the soundtrack for Robin Hood up there.
Yeah.
And the reason is because it's similar to ZZ Top. I didn't put the soundtrack for Back to the Future 3 because that song was found on Recycler. Everything I Do It For You is found on Waking Up the Neighbors. Yeah. So therefore I don't have the soundtrack there. But that would have been the only song hitting number 1. Believe it or not, I'm surprised as high as this went. Can't Stop This Thing We Started. Went all the way up to number 2.
Yeah, after that was his first hit off of that album after the Robin Hood song.
And you wouldn't think that song would get that high. That's probably got the best. Between Run to You and Can't Stop This Thing You Started, those are the two best guitar intros to his songs, I think. I'll give the edge to Can't Stop This Thing You Started. Because it looks like it's harder to play. That's why. So then he puts out his greatest hits. One extra song off of that called Please Forgive Me.
Yeah.
Which, slow.
And it sounds a lot like, do I have to say the word?
Except, do I have to, if you listen to Do Have to, it gets better once the drums enter it. Does Please Forgive Me have drums in it? I can't.
Probably, yeah. By the end of the song,
it's not as good though. It's not as strong. And then I got two soundtracks right here. I'm sure one of them. Yeah, the first one. What did I say?
Spirit.
No, not Spirit. That's 2002.
Don Juan DeMarco.
Don Juan DeMarco is the second one.
Okay.
And this one has the
Three Musketeers.
Three Musketeers. Yeah, right there. So when the hits came out, he also put out the trio song for Three Musketeers.
I just think it's funny when I see the All for Love. It's like Bryan Adams, Rod Stewart, and Sting. I'm like, what'd they do? Pick them all? They all have similar voices. Like that's how they.
I don't know.
Hey, let me give me three raspy voiced blonde musicians.
And who do you credit as the leader of that song?
I know, but
I don't think it's Sting. Sting gets the bit parts out of it. I think the main two lead vocals on that go to Rod Stewart and Bryan Adams. So we'll put this on everybody's list for us to rank. It's not going to be on this one because Bryan Adams has a lot more hits that you can choose from that are better than that.
Yeah. Sting,
maybe once he left the Police, he didn't have as many hits. Rod Stewart has a lot of hits. But a lot that I wouldn't rank. He's a 70s artist, Yeah. And then last good album here, at least ranking-wise, was 18 Till I Die. And had that Let's Make This a Night to Remember and that other one. The only thing that looks good on me is You. Again, another inappropriate song.
This is in our top 10.
But he had the Barbra Streisand song, which ranked, even though I didn't include it. And he had, following this, he had that song with one of the Spice Girls, When You're Gone. That was the
that was Melody.
Sporty Spice. That was on... that was on the next album, On a Day Like Today. Yeah. So that's your good albums, ranking wise, and then he fell off the charts, even though he was still around.
Yeah, that's fine. That's what I would do as an artist. I mean, get 3 good albums out there where you make your millions and then retire.
get your money, do what you want. Yeah. And obviously, he likes to do music. If you like your job, then you don't retire.
Yeah.
So you can still be on the circuit. So. That's his history, even though I'll put the other one up here too if you want. But he has like 5 more albums out there. One called 11, one called Get Up.
That is his 11th studio album.
Is that why? Okay.
That's why he called it 11.
And then he had Get Up, and then he had Shine a Light,
right?
Which I know nothing about.
Another thing we didn't talk about that. Weird Al does not have a parody of Bryan Adams' song.
Really?
But something that I went back and I was looking at for all the artists we previously did, but he'd be the first. He's got the first famous Christmas song.
Yeah.
So he did Run, Rudolph, Run, which is played every Christmas season. You hear Bryan Adams on the radio with that song.
And he was involved in that Canadian Live Aid imitator too, wasn't he?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, the one.
Do they know about
that
what Christmas is?
Which that's kind of annoying. It's not one that you want sticking in your head. You hear it. So that's the history of Bryan Adams. We'll go ahead and get to the top 10. Click that thing off.
All right, so you got any honorable mentions?
Honorable mentions is kind of different. Not again. 3 songs of mine didn't make it.
Of course.
1 song of yours didn't make it. But
Can't blame me on this.
supposing one of our top 10 didn't make it, the very next song, neither of us has in our top 10, but we both had them close to the 10.
Okay.
This time would have been 10 if something else above it dropped out.
Okay.
Even though neither one of us had it ranked in the top 10.
Yeah.
But that's because we rank all the other stuff lower. Okay, so the ones that didn't make it, the one that didn't make it for you is Do I Have to Say the Words? And again, maybe I based it on the
I'd only be
beginning of the
mad.
song.
I'd only be mad that didn't make it if, for some reason, Please Forgive Me is on the top 10.
That would be funny. If something else made it, they're like, no way.
That's all he's got to do. Please Forgive Me has to be lower.
That's funny. Okay, and the ones that didn't make it for me, Diana. That's one of those songs. Yeah, if there was a song that I wish was still on the radio for him, Diana would be it. But he retired it, so I mean, I guess radio stations would get a lawsuit if they played it. Maybe, I don't know. And everything I do for you. I was surprised when that hit number 1, it stayed there for a long time on the chart. So that's probably his most popular song.
I thought there was one song of his that it was number 1 for 1 week, and that was it.
I don't think that was it. Was it?
No, it wasn't that one.
No, that one stayed. Yeah, that one's. Well, we Don Juan DeMarco's song probably.
Could be.
Yeah, with the weird, Spanish song.
guitar.
Yeah. Okay, and then from Into the Fire, Hearts on Fire, probably his second best song on that one. Believe it or not, out of our top 3 songs, none of them are from the same album. So we think Reckless is his best album.
Right.
But out of the top 3 songs, only one song made it from Reckless. From the top 3. Now,
what album had the most songs on our top 10 list, though?
Reckless.
Okay, so
Yeah. So out of 10 songs, 5 come from Reckless.
Yeah, so-
But only one of them is in the top 3.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Interesting. Okay, and so getting to the number 10 song, the only song from the Cuts Like a Knife album, the self-titled song, Cuts Like a Knife.
Yeah.
And again, that would have been the one that he's probably put him on the map. I'm not sure, even Straight from the Heart, even though it ranked higher and
it
got
was
there
there
first,
yeah.
Cuts Like a Knife is what put him on there.
Yeah, I'm sure it's
Straight from the Heart doesn't have a guitar, doesn't show you how he plays
the
guitar.
video.
Yeah, that, and it shows him how good of a guitar player he is, or the other guy, I don't know, his partner that was the guitarist for most of his career. I forget his name. Okay, number 9, an unusual pick that made our top 10, because this is like one that I wouldn't think, I don't remember hearing on the radio, but I know he's got a video for it, which makes it seem like it probably was a hit at one point, but we just didn't know it. Touch the Hand from Waking Up the Neighbors. That's number 9.
Okay, I like that.
I know, but I'm saying I'm
had it on the
surprised
album,
it
so
made
I heard
it.
it.
I like it too. Oh,
Touch the. And
Yeah.
every time he says touch, there's no
Yeah,
music
yeah.
behind it.
So Cuts Like a Knife, let's go back to that. No, it was our number 10. You had it at 11, 1 out, and I had it 1 above 10, 9, so that's why it's a 10. Touch the Hand, you had all the way up to number 6, which is the reason it's even on, because I ranked it at number 14. I like it, but again, lesser known, so I didn't put it as high. Number 8, another song from Wake Up the Neighbors, Thought I'd Died and Gone to Heaven, and I had that at 12, you had that at number 7. Again, I mentioned earlier, this song kind of has a Def Leppard sound to it.
Yeah, I listened to that Def Leppard song. You thought it sounded like it. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's not anything alike. What are you talking about?
You know what? That's the first song that came to my mind. Maybe it's another song.
Yeah, I listened to them. I'm like, they don't say anything alike.
Well, there are. I know there's songs on that album that sound like they could have been from Def Leppard. I have to re-listen to it, I guess. All right, now the next 4 songs come from Reckless. So number 7, the song that gets played the most, which is the reason I have it the farthest down on Reckless, Summer of '69. I have this number 15, so my lowest of the ones that we actually got on our top 10.
Right.
You have this all the way up to number 2.
Yeah, I play it too much that I didn't want to put it at number 1, but I'm like, hey, that's gotta be like I would think it's most famous song he has out there. Well, apart from everything I do.
Because
I do
of how,
for you.
yeah. Well, that would be popular, one, because of how long it was on.
That's
at
not our
number
top.
one.
It wouldn't be on our top one because it's a slow song. We need to put that. We like the fast songs. Yeah, and of course I looked up. You know, he was born in '59, so he's talking about all the stuff he's singing about in '69. I'm like, okay, you were 10.
Yeah.
But you said he said like he likes the sound. Yeah, it's better. I mean, if he was like, yeah, I was a teenager in '73. That was summer 73. It just doesn't sound right.
no.
Summer of '69 rolls off the tongue. It really does.
I gotta say, if you're 10 years old and you're learning guitar, that's pretty impressive.
He was, I mean, shoot, he was in a band when he was 15, so
Yeah,
he probably was pretty good.
Okay, so next song at number 6 is the one with Tina Turner. It's Only Love. Both of us put that at number 8.
So that's where it belongs.
That's right. Well, we went up to number 6.
I know.
7 because of that. 7, yeah, number 7. Actually, yeah. I'm looking at my chart and getting confused. that was 6. You're right. Okay, number 5, "Run to You," and I believe this was the first song he put out on Reckless, right?
Yes.
You had this at number 9. Surprised you would drop it down that far. I have it at number 2. Again,
This is.
you don't want to get too much in the lyrics. This is one of those songs.
This is
turn that song off.
This is the opposite side of the same coin of "Cuts Like a Knife" goes on one side and "Run to You" goes on the other, because he's on the other side of the relationship that he's talking about and "Cuts Like a Knife."
Gotcha. That's funny. Look at things from the other side of the coin, I guess. Okay. Now, number 4. So your progression here. Six hits from Reckless. Okay, we just had Summer of '69, It's Only Love, then Run to You, and now Somebody at number 4. I had this as my top song. I like watching the video where he's playing it in concert. This is the song like, oh, that'd be so cool to play guitar. Of course, he wears a t-shirt. It's not like he's trying to look like anybody but a normal guy. I'm an everyman. You can do this too, right? So, and sometimes I'm listening and I'm like, it's like Mick Jagger, you know, what was those lyrics again?
He's just all of his songs on Reckless. They all have good guitar riffs.
Yeah. And you had this similar to Run. You had it worse than Run to You. You had Run to You at 9, Somebody at number 10. What the heck? Good songs, and you're like putting them way up there. so okay.
We're in the wrong shirt. I should be like, we're both wrong if I agree.
Right. So we just mentioned 4 Reckless songs. Can you guess which Reckless song is our number 1 hit? Because reveal. The song from Reckless is our number 1 hit.
Yeah,
okay.
And we'll tell you right now, you know, it's not a slow song, so it can't be Heaven.
No, give it away. Okay, so
we're always talking about how we'll be ranking. We always have the fast songs on our list.
Yeah. Okay, so number 3 came from Into the Fire, and that was Heat of the Night. And I have
that was the first song released from that album.
I have this at number 5. You have this at number 4. So brought it up to number 3 because you're ranking all these Reckless songs.
Yeah, that's not really a guitar riff. That's more of a bass.
No.
Starts with the bass.
Yeah. And you can't. It's not a ballad, but you can't rank it as a fast song because But it's pretty cool. I like varying speeds playing on the drum. This is a good one. Number 2 is the one that went all the way up to number 2. It's the only song that made it to number 2.
From Waking Up the Neighbors.
Waking Up the Neighbors is Can't Stop This Thing We Started.
Right.
So again, we like the guitar in that.
The video's pretty cool too. It's got like he's like somehow they get the camera where he is like a certain speed, but everything else behind him is going fast.
I've seen amateur people be able to do that.
Yeah,
so apparently it must be easy to do that. Somebody's riding a guitar like one of those hobby horses or whatever. Okay, so you had that at number 3. I had it at number 4. And our number 1 song, you got it right. You had picked number 1. It got number 1. I have it at number 6, coming from Reckless. The only song you wouldn't hear anymore on the radio. One Night Love Affair.
Right, which is the first song on Reckless. And I said I didn't even know it was a hit because I just think because I heard it on the album so many times since I played it over and over again.
Yeah. So if you want to get a good album from Bryan Adams, I'm sure you all know this, Reckless, because was that his? Now that's our favorite. Was it the highest selling album?
It could have been.
I think
Probably
it
is.
was.
Yeah.
Because I know Into the Fire was a big drop off.
Yeah.
Waking Up the Neighbors probably came back up.
That was probably
I doubt it surpassed
Yeah.
Reckless.
Yeah, and he was only 25 when he put it out. That's impressive right there.
Yeah. So
When I was 25, wasn't doing that.
It's funny that when you look at some of his later videos, he didn't always have his short haircut too. Sometimes he had I think Can't Stop This Thing he started, he had the big, unless that was a wig. You know, we've seen artists put wigs on.
Yeah,
obviously.
no, he probably grew it out, I'm sure.
He had grown it out. And then for his Unplugged, he had a weird haircut too. We didn't mention his Unplugged video. Back when MTV was pulling people in to do all their hits acoustically, he had an Unplugged album where he had a song called Back to You that was on the radio. Obviously, it's not going to chart. Because you're removing the good stuff. Can't have those good guitar parts with an acoustic guitar, can you?
Yeah, no, they had a live audience there listening to
And
it.
I only remember a handful of artists that did that. I know there were probably more, but I remember Nirvana doing that.
Alanis Morissette did
10,000 Maniacs did it with Natalie Merchant, but aside from that, that probably stopped after one season too. Okay, so that's it for Bryan Adams, and next week will be our first duo. I don't know that there were many.
No, we haven't had a duo yet.
I don't know that there were many duos even in the
Yeah,
80s, so we'll just tell you, it's Hall & Oates. They have a lot of hits, and so next week will be a good one. See you then.
Bye.
Bye.